Tens of thousands of teachers and staffers from America's second largest public school system, the Los Angeles Unified School District, walked off the job today. They gathered despite the rain to call for better pay, smaller classes, and more positions for nurses, counselors, and librarians. The district has made concessions, but the union says they don't go far enough, and the district says doing more will force it into bankruptcy. Unlike last year's strikes in a series of red states, this one is taking place in one of the bluest states of all. The student population of the LA Unified School District looks a lot like it does in South Los Angeles, where Henry Garcia teaches elementary school.
We're talking about a community that is predominantly Black and brown. A lot of our families qualify for free and reduced lunch. A lot of our families have 2-3 jobs. So students bring that all into the classroom.
Nearly everyone agrees that LA's public schools are badly underfunded. The district has $1.8 billion in reserves, which it says it needs to cover teachers' salaries and benefits in the future. But teachers like Henry say their schools need the money now.
A lot of our schools don't have a full-time nurse. We don't have enough counselors. That raises huge ethical concerns because so many of our students are living in poverty, and our job as a school is to respond to those needs.
And do you feel like you can do that, given the circumstances right now?
It isn't easy to create an environment where students feel comfortable. So when you learn that the district has a reserve of nearly $2 billion, the question is, why isn't that money being used to fully fund our schools and to actually meet the needs of our students?
We, the people, not the politicians, are still the boss.
The underfunding of LA schools goes back to the taxpayers' revolt of 1978, when California voters passed Proposition 13. The ballot measure capped local property taxes and, as a result, gutted school budgets statewide. California now ranks near the bottom in the country on per-pupil spending and student-teacher ratios. So when the LA Teachers Union asked its members to authorize a strike last year, the response was overwhelming. 98% voted yes. There's a reason for that. While LA's schools are struggling, a lot of teachers believe that rather than fix them, the school district would prefer to abandon them to charters and other privatization schemes. Over the years, the LA school district has slashed the budget for basic support staff. There are now fewer than 400 nurses for roughly 900 school campuses. Stephanie Yellin-Mednick is a school nurse in the San Fernando Valley who's helped organize her colleagues for the strike. She used to work at one school full-time. Now she splits her time between 4.
I think we're a little nervous about this and very scared in a way because it's not something we really want to do.
It's pretty surprising to hear that there are so many schools that only have a nurse come in once a week.
Once a week,
it's like a little bit, how does that even work? I mean, what happens if the nurse is only there on a Thursday? What happens when a kid gets sick on a Monday? I mean,
don't have an emergency on a Monday.
It's not just the nurse just being there one day a week. We have no confidentiality in many of our offices. At one of the schools, the nurse works in a hallway or under the stairwell, a closet, the bathroom. When you're sitting with a girl that's not sure whether she's pregnant or not. I mean, that's something we deal with even in middle school, or child abuse. It's very difficult to deal with child abuse when you have an office full to try to close a door to talk to a child, let alone if you don't have a door.
Parents and the private sector have also tried to plug budget holes by raising extra funds for individual schools. But that's created a divide in the district, and Martha Infante Thorpe, a social studies teacher, has seen both sides of it.
I want to say I was 21.
She taught poor students for over 20 years in South LA. Now she's teaching middle-class kids in the Valley. But even the extra funds raised by the parents at her new school can't fix the structural problem. Martha still has class sizes in the 40s, compared to the national average of 26.
and this is what you had to come up with, literally to just fit them into the space.
Exactly. And I still wasn't satisfied because the kids are still really crowded, and maybe I can get rid of my teacher desk and that'll give them more space. The conditions are not allowing us to get the best results from our students. And we know what conditions we need because we're in the classroom every single day. So I know when I'm teaching a class of 40 plus students, I'm not the most effective teacher.
Is there any concern among teachers or within the union that the strike could backfire in some way, make the teachers look bad? Is that something that gets talked about?
There is always that concern. I don't think the public is used to teachers being rowdy and being activists. In fact, some of the comments I've received on my social media postings are, "You're too strident, you need to speak more softly." We're done speaking softly. We're not speaking softly anymore.